I'm back. Don't worry. Do not. Oh, I made that beautiful. Yeah, we made some Hideo Kojima functions. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the boring stream. We can talk about things that aren't boring in the chat, don't worry. It won't distract me too much. If you wanted to talk about Hideo Kojima games, or anything else, really. But I gotta learn some C, because... Actually, why do I need to learn C? Do I actually need to learn C? Interesting. I am recording. I better go fast. Got my drink, don't worry. I will be adequately hydrated for the session. And I've turned my headphone preamp. Is it a preamp? It's more like a post amp, really, because there's an amplifier already in the PC. And it's an amplifier after that. So, I don't know why people keep calling them preamps. There's no amp after that. It's just an amp. It's just small, I guess. That's why we want to call it a preamp, because it's tiny. I can't believe even Adobe Acrobat Reader has pay to win these days. Absolutely ridiculous. So what were we doing last week? Looks like we were writing some functions. What kinds of functions? Snatcher and Metal Gear Solid, apparently. I think they just swap some values over. Let's have a look at them. Snatcher. Oh, they do the exact same thing, don't they? I remember this. One takes a pointer to an int value, and one takes a reference to an int value, and they use that information to swap the int values over on the actual variables in the program. Metal Gear Solid works a lot cleaner because you don't have to create a pointer in your actual code. I didn't ever find out a way to make Snatcher work where it took int arguments and returned nothing, but still created a change in the original int arguments. So that's that. Let's just multi-line comment that out, please. Collapse. I like hello. I like that function. If you don't know, he doesn't know. Everybody, he doesn't know. Oh, I see. Oh God. Oh, we skipped. Somehow it scrolled down a whole bunch, and we've skipped a whole bunch of gear. CP can't change IR. Let me just have another look at that function there. The Metal Gear Solid Snake Ocelot. See out Snake Ocelot. Okay. Metal Gear Solid. I see. That's interesting. Okay. No, that's fine. You give it in arguments, but they're turned into references in the function use. That's all I wanted to see. I just wanted to see how that worked, and that works. Okay. All right, yeah. It's just talking about it's okay. It's talking about how you should use reference to const when you're not changing anything in the input media, because the object that you could be referencing could already be const, and if you don't have a const reference, you won't be able to use the function, because you can't have a non-const reference to a constant object, right? You can have a constant reference to a constant object. And it's important to make that distinction, because objects outside of your function's control may be const, and you may want to use your function with those objects. I get it. Array parameters. This is where I threw the book at the wall and went to bed. I remember. I didn't go to bed. It was the middle of the day. Arrays have two special properties that affect how we define and use functions that operate on arrays. We cannot copy an array. When we want to use an array, it is usually converted to a pointer. Because we cannot copy an array, we cannot pass an array by value. Because arrays are converted to pointers, when we pass an array to a function, we are actually passing a pointer to the array's first element. Yes. Even though we cannot pass an array by value, we can write a parameter that looks exercises. What? Like an array. The exercises are like in the middle of the each function has a single parameter type of const int star. Void print const int star. Void print const int square brackets. Void print const int square brackets with a 10 inside. Okay. So the square brackets don't actually do anything. You don't need them. This is crusty remnants of C. Excuse me. Woo! Spicy. Regardless of appearances, these direct declarations are equivalent. Good, yes. Int I equals 0, J2, 0, 1, print and I, okay, and I is int star. Print J, okay. J is converted to an int star that points to J0. Cool. Arrays are just so crusty, aren't they? Is there a handy C++ function for finding the last element of an array? Negatory. Oh no, look, right here. For auto v colon v8. There you go. Right there. You just use auto v and it will just do it. I hope that's good code. I hope I didn't just leave that in there. There's no comment or anything saying it's bad, so. You're an array, Harry. Okay, multi-dimensional arrays. For const, auto, and v, ia. For auto and b, v, cout, b. Why is that auto and v? For auto and b. I don't remember why that's and. Because down here, up there, it was different, right? Up here, it was just for auto VV8. I don't think we need it to be a reference. To be honest. Size of the array is irrelevant. But the size of the array is also completely relevant. If you exceed the limit of the size of the array in your function, because you don't know how big the array is, or you just you wing nothing, and you reach the end of the array, you go past the end of the array, you're going to be accessing memory stuff, you might get memory access violation errors, crash to desktop, that kind of stuff. Using a marker to specify the extent of an array. First approach to managing array arguments requires the array itself to contain an end marker. C-style character strings are an example of this approach. C-style strings are often stored in the character arrays, in which the last character of the string is followed by a null character. Functions that deal with C-style strings stop processing the array when they see a null character. Void print const char star cp if cp, so null is equivalent to 0, which is equivalent to false in a Boolean sense, so that's fine. And while star cp, so if cp isn't a null pointer and it points to not a null character, it's going to print the character and then increment. Great, that's fine. That's pretty cool, actually. I like that. I feel like I'm leaning over here. Let's lean over the other way just to counterbalance that. It works well for character strings, not so great for arrays of integers. Oh, we'll learn more about this style of programming in part 2. What? Oh, this is a sequel? I can't deal with that. Void print const int star beg, const int star end. Print every element starting at beg up to but not including end. While beg does not equal end, cout star beg plus plus end. Is it true that you can't have a function as an argument? Oh. Excellent, Slime. Oh, this uses the dereference postfixed increment operators. Oh. To print the current element and advance beg one element at a time through the array. The loop stops when beg is equal to n. Yes. Yes. To call this function, we pass 2 pointers. One to the first element we want to print, and one just past the last element. Int j 2 0 1 print begin j end j. Beginning and end functions. See 3.5.3 page 118 in the C++ Primer Handbook version 5. The function is safe as long as the caller correctly calculates the pointers. Oh my god. Third approach for array arguments, which is common in C programs and all the C++ programs, is to define a second parameter that indicates the size of the array. Oh, sweet home turf. It's just as bad as the previous one. It still requires you doing like function stuff outside of the this really pisses me off about C, right? Okay, so we have these functions to make your code streamlined, legible, modular, right? But if you have to use if you have to use extra code outside the function to make the function work in the main loop, what is the point in having the function in the first place? You may as well just write all that code out. Am I wrong? I'm wrong, I know. It still makes it a little bit easier, but it's still annoying to me that there are functions that can't just take in raw arguments from your code and wrangle them correctly. It makes me very angry. Someone needs to fix that. We need C++++. It's the same kind of feeling I get when Unreal doesn't know what actor I'm trying to talk to. And I'm just like, it's just a global parameter, man. It doesn't need to be stored in an actor. And Unreal's like, we don't do global parameters, dog. So I put everything in the level blueprint, and then an Unreal programmer comes to my stream and he's like, hey, you shouldn't really put that shit in your level blueprint. Really frustrating, you know? When there's like, you go to the Unreal documentation, and everyone doing example code is just like, we're going to do this. It's not ideal, but it'll work for this exercise. And they do that every fucking exercise. They do something that is not correct, that is not kosher for making a program in Unreal. And then they're just like, but it fucking, yeah, it works here. You know, games are basically held together with fucking Pritt stick anyway. And all these functions write their inputs as pointers to const, because the functions themselves don't need to rewrite any of the data in them. Good. The array parameter should be a pointer to const. Always, anyway, right? Parameter should be a plain pointer to a non-const type, only if a function needs to change an element value. Good. We learned that last week. Good. Just as we can define a variable that is a reference to an array, we can define a parameter that is a reference to an array. What? As usual, the reference parameter is bound to a corresponding argument, which in this case is an array. Oh, cool. You just got to put the and r. You just got to put the and the array name, I'm guessing, in brackets. But you can get a reference to the array then, and then you can change values in the array. And remember, if you don't put the parentheses around the and the array name, you will define an array of references, which isn't what you want. Oh. Oh god. So basically, because we're passing a reference of a specific size of an array, and an array size is tied to its type somehow, the object's intrinsic data, it means that while you can edit the values hidden in the array in the function that you're writing, it means the function that you have written now takes a specific size of array, which sometimes can be okay, but let's be real, most of the time you're going to want a flexible data storage object container, like a vector. Why aren't we talking about vectors? Can we talk about vectors in this chapter, please? Vectors are so much better than arrays, and that why did you bring them into C++ if you weren't going to fucking use them? Recall that there are no multi-dimensional arrays in C++. Instead, what appears to be a multi-dimensional array is an array of arrays. An array of arrays is a multi-dimensional array. You understand that's how dimensions, well, it gets real complicated when you look at things in fine detail, but essentially that's what dimensions are. But we'll gloss over that one. If they say that's not multi-dimensional, we'll just, whatever. Buh. So we've got what I'm almost certain is a breeding pair of house spiders. Yay. There's like 4 baby spiders just all on the plant pots, trying to drink the juice in the kitchen. We'll just put them out in the front door for Halloween, it'll be fine. No need to spend money on Halloween decorations when you have your own spider farm. Time is it? 40 minutes past 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Good. Good. As with an array, a multi-dimensional array is passed as a pointer to its first element. Because we're dealing with an array of arrays, the element is an array, so the pointer is a pointer to an array. Oh god. The size of the second and any other subsequent dimension is part of the element type and must be specified. Wow. This is just real technical. Oh, it said oh, here we go. We'll see in 16.1.1, page 654, how we might write this function in a way that would allow us to pass a reference parameter to an array of any size, which is really what you want to learn at the beginning, isn't it? Unless it's not something you should be doing. Wait, what? I understand the words that are written on the page here. As with any array, a multi-dimensional array is passed as a pointer to its first element. Because we are dealing with an array of arrays, that element is an array. So the pointer is a pointer to an array. The size of the second and any subsequent dimension is a part of the element type that must be specified. So we have a 2-dimensional array here. An array of arrays that are 10 big and they're full of ints. Okay? Christ. I couldn't have worded that worse, could I? Which is fine. We can also define our function using array syntax. As usual, the compiler ignores the first dimension, so it is best not to include it. That is void print int matrix square brackets with a 10 inside. But how does that help us? Which array are we gonna be traversing in the function? There's a small part of me that just does not understand what is what is going on here. Like, so, right, okay, so it's a pointer to the first value, the first object in the array, which is in itself an array. That array needs to be specified in its size, but the array that we're dealing with, the one that is passed to the function, does not have to be specified in size. It gets thrown out by the compiler. Why? I don't know. It says like it's you're meant to know that already, but I have no recollection of why the first array's size is thrown out. Because previously it said that you needed that, right? But assuming that we passed a quote-unquote multi-dimensional array to our function, that is an array, that is a set of arrays nested within an array, an array. Are all the values addressable? Is the entire matrix readable, accessible in that function? I hope so. But how would you get to them? It's being passed int row size, which I can only assume is the width of the array, right? But that's the height of the array, right? So each array within the array matrix is going to be 10 wide, and then row size tall. It's going to have that many elements, but it just kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. I understand why it's appointed to an array of 10 ints, right? I understand why it isn't just a whole hog reference to, a multi-dimensional array. Sorry, an array of arrays. They're initialized. It's multi-dimensional, right? If you make an array with 4 square brackets at the end, you're initializing a hypercube essentially, right? Something with one parameter that has 3 parameters adjacent. Correct? Incorrect? Whatever. Yes, it's that stupid. Oh. The next section is handling command line options. It's not really That's not really anything linked to what we were just talking about, but there are some exercises here which I think we can safely skip. I think we did all that last week when we did these. Oh. Did I rewrite the Fibonacci function just to work? No, I didn't. Good. Explain the behavior of the following function. If there are problems in the code, explain what they are and how you might fix them. Void print const int ia10. Okay, you need a star in between int and ia because you can't just. Oh my goodness gracious me! You can't just have that. You can't just put. We just did that. When you're passing an array to a function, it's an int star, buddy. For size t I equals 0, I does not equal 10 plus I. That's cool. C out IA I endl. This should be fine. Just put that star back in, you'll be good to go. Okay, we'll cover the command line. Sure. Oh, I see. It turns out the main is a good example of how C++ programs pass arrays to functions. So apparently main itself is a function. That is how you add. Yeah, I've seen this before. Int main, int argc, char argv, char star argv. Sorry. So you get argc is the number of arguments presented, and char star argv is an array of those arguments, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, you can also engage it by doing char star star argv, which is cute. That's a very very C pointer style way of doing it. When arguments passed to main, the first element in argv points to either the name of the program or to the empty string. Subsequent elements pass the arguments provided on the command line. The element just past the last pointer is guaranteed to be 0. Cool. Why is it guaranteed to be 0? Remember, when you use arguments in argv, the optional arguments begin in argv1. argv0 contains the programmer's name, not user's input. Good. Okay, doesn't seem too hard. We got a challenge. Oh, apparently that was a function. Okay. Um. That's fine. Where did we? Where is this program? Because we're gonna have to actually launch it from the. Can I open this in Explorer? Open folder in File Explorer. Debug? That's an application. In fact, can I... This is no fun if you can't see it, right? No, I can't copy the address, okay. Debugs / Saily boy .exe dash poop dash hello. Okay. Fuck. Okay, that didn't work. So we've done something wrong. Did we do this wrong? Expected an expression. It prints their memory addresses, which is not correct. Do we need to dereference them, maybe? Is that... Am I an idiot? Nope. Uh-oh. Ha 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 ha. Ha. Very fun. A good time. Let's read the book again. Let's just... Yeah, we don't need an array of pointers. We don't need an array of pointer strings. We just need regular strings. Build succeeded. Nope. Oh. Got them the wrong way around. Doesn't want that to happen. Why not? That's fine, isn't it? It's just if three? Oh, yeah, good. Good. Hmm. Hmm. This is not good. Where do we need to go? How do I navigate the command line again? I need help. It's just to Google it. Ah, piss. Let's not Google it. Let's just Google it. Windows command line navigation. There we go. Ha, Okay. So I just need to type G. Ah! Yes. G plus plus. Actually, can I just paste that in now? Ah, I see. It works. It works. It works. And you'll recognize that it works because when the arguments to the program, i.e. the program's name and the two arguments passed to it in the command line, thank God. I was trying to do this using the run command. What the hell? As you can see, it prints them out as string text to the screen underneath the function, and you see the second one where we have 4 arguments. So argc being 4, it doesn't print anything because we have an if statement, which makes sure that only 2 strings get printed. The actual exercise was to write a program that concatenates the 2 strings and then prints them out, but you just use the concat function. It's a C++. It's fine. It's easy peasy. I don't care enough to do it. There, I said it first. But yeah, that was cool. And do you know what? Do you know what? I'm happy with that. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it there. Wow, we've done enough today. The next bit is functions with varying parameters, which is gonna be fun, I'm sure. But yeah, so we'll be doing the Unreal section sometime in the evening, late night. I don't know when exactly, but that'll be a thing. So if you came to watch the live video, thank you for coming to watch the live video. If you came to watch the video on demand, thank you for coming to watch the video on demand. And as always, piss. We'll see you in the next episode.